All right, welcome into the show. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and on today's show, we're going to play the role of general manager. Bleacher Report put together trade packages for Brandon Aiyuk, and we're going to decide, do we accept the trade? Do we decline the trade? We're going to go through all of them, and as I've continued to say, I imagine some people already fired up in the comments section, and I absolutely love that. But I've reported from sources that I've heard from that the Niners want to keep Brandon Aiyuk. They are making him a priority. They want him to be a long-term member of this organization. They're going to work to get a deal done, but we can have fun football conversations, and sometimes things change and star players do get dealt. Look at what happened this past week. Stephon Diggs, really good wide receiver, traded from the Buffalo Bills to the Houston Texans. Here are just some of the reasons why I would retain Brandon Aiyuk, I'd sign him to a contract extension, and I would not trade him away. He's been a great pairing with Brock Purdy. Their on-field relationship, especially last year, was special and dynamic. Brock Purdy, top 5 in MVP voting. Brandon Aiyuk, a second-team All-Pro. And you want to do everything that you can to support your young quarterback. You want to have that foundation from the ownership to the general manager, to the coaching staff, to your roster. Having really good wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, it helps you develop that support system for your young quarterback who you want to continue to see ascend and grow and develop. You also want to invest in your homegrown studs. A lot of organizations out there whiff on a lot of draft picks. That's why they continue to be bad organizations. The San Francisco 49ers have taken care of their own players and they've paid their own players. Literally, over the last few off seasons, from George Kittle to Fred Warner to Deebo Samuel to Nick Bosa, and I think Brandon Aiyuk is going to be next. I also think there's room to grow for Aiyuk. He has not hit his ceiling yet. I still think that he can become better, and I love what he's about. Toughness, physicality, well-rounded route tree, loves to get in the lab and improve his craft, a willing blocker. He's got that swagger. He's got that confidence. That's the identity. That's the backbone of this football team. So if you want Aiyuk to be a long-term Niner just like me, everybody watching right now, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. As for those Bleacher Report trade ideas, let's start off with this one from the Arizona Cardinals, where the Niners receive a 2024 first-round pick, 27th overall, and then a fifth-round pick, 138 overall. The Cardinals receive wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk in addition to a fourth-round pick, number 135 overall. My thoughts on this deal: I think a first-round pick is a starting point for any Brandon Aiyuk trade. 27 to me, I'm sorry. I might be greedy, but I really value the player. It's a little bit too low for me. There could be a good wide receiver there, though, if the Niners can't extend Aiyuk, he wants to go somewhere else, his asking price is too high, and you need to find an Aiyuk replacement. These are the wide receivers I think could be available in the first round when either the Niners pick or if they were to accept this trade. Any combination of these players here. Adonai Mitchell, who I think is the better Texas wide receiver compared to Xavier Worthy. Great size, great speed. Brian Thomas, great size, great speed. Xavier Worthy, I worry about the size, but a 4.21 40-yard dash is stupid. Troy Franklin is really built. He's also a quick, fleet-footed wide receiver. And Malachi Corley, drawing a lot of Deebo Samuel comps. He was top 10 in college football in yards after the catch this past year. The 49ers here giving up a fourth, though. In addition to Brandon Aiyuk, the Niners really value their mid-round picks. They've hit on a bunch of them, especially during this Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch regime. And the Cardinals, it's been no secret. They want a number 1 wide receiver. But from Arizona's standpoint, why not just draft Marvin Harrison Jr.? He's young. He's going to be a stud. I think he's a special player. And you're not going to have to sign him to a contract extension like you would have to do with Aiyuk. You get him at a really affordable price. Also, I can imagine that the Niners do not want to play and match up against Brandon Aiyuk twice a year inside the NFC West. So for that, it's a no bueno for me. My decision here for that Cardinals trade we are going to decline that deal. And of course, as we run through all of these trades, you can let me know your thoughts and let me know if you would accept or you decline. Earlier in the week, we did talk about the Buffalo Bills as an emerging destination for Brandon Aiyuk because they traded away Stephon Diggs. So the Bills here would receive Aiyuk. The Niners get pick number 28 overall, which is what we talked about earlier on this week, and a 2025 fourth-round pick. I'm not going to lie, it's pretty good value there, but again, for me, pick number 28 is a little bit too low. With Brandon Aiyuk, this player has developed, he's grown, he's gotten better, he's ascended every year that he's been in the league. He was the 25th overall pick, and he is an all-pro player. Buffalo, though, from their standpoint, they traded away Stephon Diggs. Their wide receiver core is extremely thin, as we're about to show you, and Buffalo desperately needs that number one because is this going to get the job done in the AFC East and in the AFC in general? Khalil Shakir as the wide receiver one. Curtis Samuel is a viable number two option. Andy Isabella, Tyree Shavers, and then KJ Hamler. They're going to be putting a lot on Josh Allen's plate. That's what you pay a franchise quarterback to do, but it's a far cry from having this receiving core on your screen, from having Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis. My decision on that Bills deal, I am sorry, Brandon Beane, but it is still not enough in my estimation. You are going to have to increase and put that offer on the uptick. What say you? Which pick in the first round would you trade Aiyuk for? A pick in the first round where you're really like, man, it's going to be tough to keep him at that price tag and declining that first round selection. Let me know by dropping me a number in the comment section. Today's 49ers Report, by the way, is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is a great app, and Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all things sports, comedy, music, and theater. Game Time believes that the impromptu moments in life lead to incredible shared experiences, so they built a ticket marketplace that makes it faster and easier to get into your favorite events at a moment's notice. I know for me, producer Chip, we're really busy people here covering the NFL. The National Football League has really mastered almost a year-round calendar. Sometimes we don't know what we're going to do up until the last moment because of breaking news. But with Game Time, they provide just the premier marketplace for last-minute tickets to the most popular events in sports, music, theater, and more in 60 cities across the United States and Canada. And you can buy tickets with 2 taps on your phone. Best part about all of this is get $20 off using the code CHATSPORTS. Link is down below in the comment section and in the show notes of today's 49ers Report. Another trade idea is this one from the Los Angeles Chargers, where the Chargers receive Brandon Aiyuk and a 2024 6th-round pick, 211 overall, and the Niners get a lot of draft capital here. 2nd-round pick, 37 overall, so 5 picks into the 2nd round. A 2024 4th-round pick, number 110 overall, and then a 2025 conditional day 2 pick. That would be a 2nd rounder. So this deal is pretty solid. You get 2 2nd-round picks in addition to a 4th-round pick, that latter second, in a year from now. For me, that's just a disrespectful offer. It's just not good enough. You're either going to have to throw in a 1st-round pick, and the Chargers won't do that because they're in a position there inside the top 10 to draft a really good player. And because of that, the conversation ends. Can the Chargers even pay Brandon Aiyuk too? If I'm trading away Aiyuk and I'm the Niners, I love this player. That's why we drafted him at Arizona State after he was a JUCO product. We had to go through a little bit of a bumpy ride early to the point where now he's become one of the best wide receivers in the game. But the Chargers had to trade away Keenan Allen. They cut Mike Williams, and they restructured the deals for Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack because they're tight on money. And now you're going to trade for Brandon Aiyuk when you don't have money? My decision on that trade, hell no. Thank you, but we'll see you later, Los Angeles Chargers and Jim Harbaugh. This Patriots trade offer goes as such. New England finally gets a number 1 wide receiver for the first time since, man, when was the last time they had a number 1 wide receiver? Julian Edelman? I don't even think he was a number one. It's been a long time since New England had a wide receiver of this caliber in Brandon Aiyuk. So New England, they get Brandon Aiyuk and a round 5 pick, 176 overall in the 2024 NFL Draft. Niners receive a second-round pick, which is on the cusp of being a first-round pick. So the Niners here in this situation would pick at 31 and at 34. You can get two really good players there. You could go offensive line, and you could probably get a Malachi Corley, an Xavier Legette, maybe a Troy Franklin. If you want to go slot, Ladd McConkey, Ricky Pearsall at number 34. So you can get offensive lineman, wide receiver at 31 and 34. In addition to that, 103 overall in the 4th round, and then a 2025 second-round pick. So these organizations offering some seconds, and you want to continue to be able to build your football team, right? But come on now. Diggs got a second-round pick. He's the older and declining player. Aiyuk is the younger and ascending player. I want that first-round pick for Brandon Aiyuk. New England, if you're not willing to give that up, click. Because look at these numbers here. Aiyuk in 2023, yards per catch, number 2. Yards per target, numero dos. Second highest graded Pro Football Focus wide receiver behind Tyreek Hill. EPA number 2 and receiving yards number 7. If Aiyuk got more targets, which in turn equals more catches, those numbers might even be better. My decision with the New England Patriots. That is going to be another hard pass. But now things start to get interesting with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Washington Commanders. Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh offering up first-round pick, 20th overall, and a third-round pick, number 98 overall. So here's San Francisco, in addition to having a couple of really good picks inside the top 100 already, they add 2 more picks inside the top 100. The 20th overall pick, Mike Tomlin, Omar Khan. Now we're talking. That is the value that makes sense, and that moves the needle because there are a selection of high-impact players that you can take with the 20th overall selection. And there are a lot of players who are going to be available there. You want a George Kittle replacement? Brock Bowers. You want a future right tackle or a left tackle? Amarius Mims. Tyler Guyton. You want an interior offensive lineman? Graham Barton. Jackson Powers Johnson. You want an edge rusher? Chop Robinson. Leatu Latu. You want a wide receiver? Some of the wide receivers that we talked about a little bit earlier. Or what if you pair 20 and 31 and you move up for a player like Joe Alt? You could also use that 20 and another pick to move up in the NFL draft. So that is the type of offer that I'm trying to field, that I'm trying to offer, that opens up my ears when I'm having some of these conversations. My decision here, I got to sit Brandon Aiyuk down. I need to know the final price tag. This is your last opportunity to give me your price tag. And if that price tag is too high and or you want out, again, if Brandon Aiyuk wants out, no longer wants to play with San Francisco, that's a deal I do accept. And then lastly, this Commanders acquisition. Adam Peters running the front office now for Washington. They do not have a number 1 wide receiver. You can make the argument that Terry McLaurin is their number 1. I think he's more of a high-end number 2, maybe a 1B. Aiyuk's a better player. So the thought here for Washington, you draft a Drake May, a Jaden Daniels, because I think Caleb Williams goes number 1 to the Chicago Bears. And now that young quarterback has Aiyuk and Terry McLaurin to throw to. Commanders also receive a 2024 6th-round pick. They're giving up number 36 overall, 4 picks into the 2nd round. So now you're at 31 and 36 and a round 3 pick, which is right outside the 2nd round at 67 overall and Jahan Dotson. Now for me, and I talked about this with Larry Krueger on the Krug Show. I go on there every single Friday. Love our conversations. Krug is the man. Very talented at what he does. Great YouTube channel. Jahan Dotson is an intriguing player. And if you trade Aiyuk, you want a wide receiver replacement. Now, what if the Niners got Jahan Dotson, you have Deebo Samuel, you have Juwan Jennings, and then you use your first-round pick or your second-round pick or your third-round pick on another wide receiver. In a way, you're reshaping your wide receiver core, you are saving money, and you're getting cost-controlled assets and very, very talented players. Drafting a wide receiver in this class makes a lot of sense. That's the young player who's cost-controlled for 4 or 5 years. 4 years if they're second round and beyond. 5 years if you exercise that fifth-year option and you take them in that first round. Jahan Dotson's a really good player. 5'11", $182. I came to Chat Sports a few years ago in 2021 from Pennsylvania, covered Penn State football there, grew up watching Penn State when Joe Paterno was the head coach. And Jahan Dotson can track the football. He's got really good hands. He can high point the football. He plays with physicality. He's a solid route runner. Last year, 49 catches, 518 yards. As a rookie, I thought he was pretty good. He's had subpar quarterback play in 2 years. That would be a pretty solid return. But I'm sorry, Adam Peters. My decision on this, no good! We are not doing that deal with the Washington Commanders because it's simply not enough. The Pittsburgh Steelers deal, though, I like that one. So which of these trades do you like? Washington, Pittsburgh, New England? They're solid trade offers. But there's one that truly moves the needle for me and gets the brain and the thoughts flowing. Let me know which trade you like. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to subscribe.